What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we are going to be checking out the Jurassic Park 93 Classic Dennis Nedry Track and Chase Pack. Now, Mattel did this in honor of Kenner and in celebration of the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary for the movie. And so I was able to get this on clearance, and as the time of this recording, you can find this set at your local Ollie's. So if you're interested in starting up a 93 Classic collection, that's one way you can find this particular set at. There are plentiful of them. And then, of course, you can check the secondary market as well for all the others. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this box. All right, so you got the JP logo right there, and then you got another JP logo right there. Or Jurassic Park logo right there. And then you got the 93 Classics logo right there that's on the top right-hand corner, along with the warning choking hazard font there. And then you got the Dennis Nedry and Track and Chase Pack in the middle. Ages 4 and up, that's me. And you got the Mattel logo right there. So here is the top of the box. Here you get the little hinge right there where you can hang it up if you choose to do so. And then there's the Jurassic Park logo right there with the Dennis Nedry Track and Chase Pack font right there. And then, of course, here is all your legal information, copyright information, and all the logos. And then here is the Jurassic Park logo right there. And then there is the attention, warning, all that stuff. And then here is the other side of the box. It's basically, here's the Jurassic Park logo right there. And so let's go back to the front. And here's the picture of the Raptor coming at you, running away from Dennis Nedry as he's on his motorcycle, trying to capture it. And then here is the little small window style packaging here with the Raptor right there. And then, of course, you got the Jurassic Park gate with the ferns and palm trees here in the background, along with the orangish, yellowish, reddish sunset. And then here on the back of the packaging, here we have the Jurassic Park logo right there. And then here in the middle, you got the digital render of Dennis Nedry and the Raptor on the background. That pays homage to Kenner, what they did. They had a little diorama and with the figures set up in the background for their photo shoots, so it was amazing. So here, this is the digital background that they gave us. I guess they didn't really give a full effort into it. So here is the picture where you can capture the Raptor, and then here is another picture where you can launch the missile. And then, of course, here is the fax app information right there. And then here is the picture of the contents that's inside the box. So let's take a few minutes to open this thing up and take a look and see what we got inside. All right, so as I was cutting the box, I didn't realize that I had this extra stuff that or something got wet or whatever it was, I think, when I bought this. I didn't really notice it, so I kind of cut into it, so it kind of came out on this end. So, oh well, a little upset about it, but so here's all it's glued right here and everything. So it's all the extras. So let's open this up. Here is the instruction manual right there, and then here is content right there. There's more content right there. And then some more stuff there, and we just pull this tray out. Here is the Raptor right there. So I like the fact that that they had the tray like they did. So it's like basically this right here. So when you put this back in, if you want to save the box, you'll still get that cool background in the window. So let's go ahead and take this Raptor out and open the contents and see what we got. Alright, so we got all the contents out of its packaging. We got everything. And let's say Dennis Nedry is looking a little buff there, would you say? The only thing that's wrong with him that I see is that the leg is all warped like that. I don't know if it's because of the way it was in the box or whatever, but it's not. His leg's not straight, so he's got that like kind of like leaning to the side a little bit. That's fine. Could always get a replacement for him if I need it. It's not that serious, I don't think. But it looks a little tall and lost a lot of weight. All right, let's go look at this stuff one by one. All right, first off, let's go ahead and take a look at Nidri. So we'll take a look at his accessory first. So this is all in one piece. So this literally pays homage to his Series 1 and Series 2 Kenner figure. And so basically you got this, it's all silver, plastic, packed with details as usual. And of course, you know, he's got this respirator right there. And he's got his backpack with whatever it is that he's got in there. And then here is his gun. So it's pretty much all attached in one piece, so which is really cool. So you don't lose anything. And so if you want to compare it to his Series 1 and Series, well, pretty much the same thing. So here is his accessory for the Kenner line. It's pretty much the same thing. This backpack right there. The only thing that's different is that this is pretty much sits back here, and the gun just holsters itself right there. I had it backwards, so it sits out like this. So it's pretty much the same thing. The tank. So you just fill that thing with water, and it pretty much squirts out, you know, by just squeezing that thing, because you know can't do that with this. And then of course, you know, here is his mask, his respirator right here. So it's pretty much the same thing like this right here. So like I said, it's all attached in one piece. So, and then of course, you know, he's got the gun accessory. It's a lot more detailed than this thing right here. So pretty cool. All right, so on to Nedry himself. Lost a lot of weight, muscled up, and grew taller. That's the best way to describe him in this one. So of course, you know, he's not going to be your normal 3 3/4 figure. It's more like a 4-inch figure than anything. So I do have a figure that might be close to his size. We're going to find out. We'll show that here in a minute. But yeah, so they just basically took parts from different things, and I think the only thing that's different is the legs. The legs is like a lot longer than normal. So I don't know if that was made intentionally, specifically this, but everything's just like stretched out on them, you know. Like I said, this thing's all wonky right here. I'm afraid to really move it because it might break. But yeah, so you got the orange vest on. You know, you got the belt all the way around him, right there. I think it looked like they just added that piece to it. You know, that's what it looks like. It's like a separate piece. They just added that to the extra height, which they didn't really need to do that. They could have just kept them as is. It just looks weird, you know. You got this chubby face right there, but I don't know. It's just awkward. Why they decided to go that route, I have no clue. They could have just gave him like a generic, like a regular mercenary body with just the head, you know. He didn't have to make a whole new mold or whatever it is that they were trying to do. It's just like, it looks weird. But anyways, the head sculpt looks great. Love the head sculpt. You know, looks exactly like him, you know. And it's got the likeness of Wayne Knight, so it's a great looking figure, head sculpt wise. But like I said, he's got the orange vest on. He's got the brown belt with all the little pockets and stuff, and he's wearing blue jeans. And he's got the brown boots right there, and he's got muscled up arms. And then he's got that watch right there. So I'm interested in how this tooling went about, because it's like everything's like super long on them. Oh gosh. But anyways, but yeah, let's go ahead and let's do a little bit of comparison. So we'll just go ahead and bring out his Series 1 Kenner counterpart right here. So again, with Kenner, you know, at least they made him in scale. Even though he was skinny, he wasn't as fat. Not really much of a likeness to him, but still. Alright, so we'll remove him, and the other comparison I wanted to do is from the Leonard line. He may not be as tall as this figure, but we have the Rock from the Jumanji line that Leonard Toys did. So it's like a 5-inch figure, and this is a 4-inch. It's about 4 inches. It's supposed to be 3 3/4, but I'd say it's about 4 inches. So even though it's not nearly as big as the Rock, but just almost kind of, look how awkward that looks. Alright, let's go on to the next thing. Oh, we'll just go ahead and put on his gear real quick. See what he looks like with it on. So we'll just put it on like this. It's like he could barely fit it. While this is a cool concept, it's just so odd. It's cool, but odd at the same time. It's just like the proportions like all off. Just strange. But it's like can't really get his gear on like you want to, especially with the gun. The gun fits perfectly, but yeah, it's just a little awkward. So yeah, that's what he looks like with his gear on. It's kind of lopsided a little bit, but stands a little weird. Like I said, because of that hinge right there, it's just weird. So I might have to get a replacement one, probably one that's a lot better. All right, let's go ahead and do some articulation real quick. So here is the head is on a ball. You can look down a little bit, but you can barely look up. So it's like really not much head movement. And of course, you know, his shoulders are at the hinge. You get a swivel and hinge at the elbow right there, and then you get the waist swivel. And of course, you know, you get the Van Damme splits. But like I said, I can't really do much with this leg. So that's about as far as you're going to get with that. So I just can't really go. Well, there we go. But still, even though if I was able to do that, still look a little off. So got the hinge right there, forwards, but can't go backwards. Do that butt cut right there. And then you got the single knee and hinge right there. So it's like he's got a broken leg or something. But yeah, I might have to find a replacement for this. But anyways, let's go on and move on to the next thing. Alright, so the next thing we're going to take a look at the Velociraptor. And this pretty much pays homage to the Hasbro Jurassic Park 3 React Attack Alpha Raptor. Now, I don't have that figure, so I can't really do a comparison to it, but this is pretty much what it's based off of. So if you Google React Attack Alpha Raptor from Hasbro for Jurassic Park 3, then there's a picture on there. But this is pretty much your basic Raptor mold that we've been getting throughout the Dominion line, the 93 Classics line here, and then some other lines that they released. So I do like the paint scheme though. I do like the fact that, wow, they actually had the red paint striping all the way down, and they tipped it off too. So that's amazing right there. I wish they would do all the Raptors like that. Pretty much all the dinosaurs if they got back and tail paint. But it's about the only time we're going to get it. But he's got this like cream gravy colored plastic. And you got the striping pattern on the legs right there. And then basically the top of the head, neck, and the back, and all the way down to the tail is red. And you got the striping pattern. And that's from the snout around the eyes and neck, and then all the way down here, and then on the other side same thing. And then the eyes are on point as far as that goes, so it's a really good copy of that. And then the teeth, no cavities, so very impressed right there. And so basically here is the FAXAPS code if y'all need it. And then you got the swivel at the tail as far as articulation goes. And then you got the leg articulation forwards and backwards. And then arms forwards and backwards. And you got the hinge at the neck. So up and down. You got the swivel too. Then you got the hinge at the jaw. So very cool. So if we're going to do some comparisons, the only comparison I will, when it comes to, since it's based off of Kenner, you know, we'll just go ahead and compare it to the Series 1 JP Raptor that we got from Kenner. So there we go. There is the comparison to that. So looks pretty good. I do like that a lot. Alright, let's go on to the last thing. Alright, so the last thing we have is the motorcycle that came with this set. And so here are the pieces that you can connect to the side of the bike. So we'll move the bike. We'll take a close look at these pieces. So the first piece is the capture claw that we have. So it comes with an extension. And you can just it's a soft pliable plastic where you can just open this up and then just put it across the dinosaur's foot. So and then, you know, of course it's yellow, and then the mechanism is green, and it's got a little swivel right there. You can move it up and down. And then the next piece, you know, is the missile launcher. So connected on the other side. The missile is yellow, so you press this button and it'll shoot out. So you got a yellow missile right there. So it does pack a pretty good punch. So it shoots out pretty far. Alright, so as far as the bike itself goes, this is pretty much a repaint to one of the bikes that we got, one of those Owen sets. I don't remember which set it was, but pretty much a repaint of that. The only thing that's different is that you get to have these connection pieces right there on the side. So the base of the bike is pretty much black. All the details with the engine, the Jurassic Park logo right there. And then this is where the connectors are for the pieces. And then you got the orange sheet and engine cover right there where you put the gasoline tank right there. It's got the green striping right there. And then the base of the bike is in the front is orange with the JP logo right there. And you get the headlight right there. Then you get the wheels with the green around the wheels right there. So pretty neat. So all you gotta do is just take this piece, just connect it right there, and then you can take this and connect it right there. So that way you can, I don't know, you know, yeah. So it just only goes sideways and stuff, forwards and backs. The only thing you do is just right there. You can right there. So basically this bike, oh yeah, and you got the pedal stool right there. You can actually, you're supposed to be able to move it. Guess not. This doesn't allow you to, for whatever reason, or at least mine doesn't. I'm not going to try to force it because I want to break it. So basically this bike is based off the Evil Raiders bicycle they got for the Kenner line. So here's the Kenner Evil Raiders cycle, capture cycle. So you could tell as far as the detail goes, it's a lot better because you get the bones all wrapped up on the front and back of the bike. You don't have anything like that. So here's the capture claw right there, and compared to this one. So the only thing that's different is you get the missile. So there is the comparison for the Kenner Evil Raiders bike, and here's Dennis's bike from the '93 Classics. And here's what Dennis looks like with him being on the bike. So it is a little wonky, a little bit. You're supposed to lean him forward, but because of, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but you can't really. You can lean him forward. You can't really hold the handlebar except for maybe one hand, but his feet's gonna hang off of it. So it's cool for what it is. Just had to set him up like that. So yep, that's what he looks like on the bike. I know it's not a very good job, but I think only one arm or hand can grip it to make it somewhat reasonable. So even all the other figures that come with a motorcycle, it's not, see, it's not very well presented. So he's supposed to, so it's not like he can really ride it like it's supposed to, pose it, because when you do, it's just weird. Not really a thought out design. He's too tall, probably. I don't know. But there he is when he's sitting on his bike. Here's the '93 Classics Dennis next to the Series 1 Kenner Jurassic Park Dennis Nedry. And again, there he is with the mask on this time. And here he is with the Kenner Jurassic Park Series 2 Dennis Nedry. And here he is with the mask on as well. So overall, this is a really good set. The only thing that I have a complaint is that the leg on mine is all warped and wonky. So I might have to end up getting another one just so I can have it more straight. I think the figure itself is just a little weird. How tall they made it, and just the design and how they went about doing it. The head sculpt is wonderful. I love the head sculpt. But body-wise, it's just like it's just bad. So, I mean, they didn't, I don't know. But they could have did a little bit better. I mean, you could still have a buff Dennis, but you didn't have to make it the way it looked right there. It's just, you could still make a 3 3/4 figure. Like I said, you could have just took a mercenary and just swapped out the arms and kept the legs and body the same, and the head the same. Just replace the arms and the head and just put it on a regular mercenary body. And then voila, you have your buff Dennis, but not so tall and weird looking. But aside from that, great set for what it is. So I do like it a lot. I do recommend it. So like I said, at the time of this recording, you can get this set at Ollie's, if you want to start off your '93 Classics collection. Alright, so let me know in the comments below what you think of this set, and don't forget, words of wisdom: buy what you love and not what you like, because if you buy what you like, you always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.